Today we are making stir-fried rice with teriyaki chicken, stir-frying vegetables to eat with it. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to start our rice, and a little trick to getting perfect rice every time is to wrap your lid in a towel. And so I'm wrapping my lid in a towel, and then I'm going to clip it, and this will make the rice turn out perfect and fluffy every time. Okay, we're going to make this rice with chicken stock, and we're doing a 1-to-2 ratio of liquid to rice, and we have some nice jasmine rice here. And then we're going to get it boiling and cover it up and simmer it for 20 minutes. Alright, now that we have our rice started, we're going to go ahead and make our teriyaki sauce so that it can be sitting here, all the flavors melding together while we're making the rice. For the teriyaki sauce, we're going to start with the water and the cornstarch, and we're going to, there you go, and we're going to mix that together before we add anything else, because cornstarch really doesn't like to mix except for with straight water, and when you try to mix it with anything else in the water, it doesn't like to mix very well. And we need the cornstarch in our teriyaki because it's going to be our thickening agent. So we've got our cornstarch, and then we're going to put in our water, and we're going to mix it. And once it looks like it's kind of a milky substance, then we're going to say it's done enough, and we'll add our spices. Looks mixed. Do you see any on the bottom? No? Okay, alright, let's say it's mixed. And now we're going to add in all of our spices. There you go. It sticks because of the humidity. That's onion. There you go. And then and as much as possible, we're using organic ingredients as usual. So we need a little bit of ginger, and the ginger is going to round things out for us. And then we'll mix that. Alright.
I don't like too much ginger.
Yeah. So now we're going to mix it together. Okay, so we've mixed together our spices. We're adding our coconut sugar. It calls for brown sugar. So instead of brown sugar, what we're going to do is we're going to just make our own, basically, by putting a 1/4 teaspoon of molasses in to mix, and that's what would be in a 1/4 cup of brown sugar would be about a 1/4 teaspoon of molasses. So we're just going to put that in and mix it. It's going to want to stick to our spoon, so we're probably going to want to drop it right in there and try to mix it in the liquid. And then after we add this, we're going to add our cider vinegar, and it calls for a 1/4 cup of cider vinegar. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this.
This does not smell pleasant.
Yeah, but it's an important ingredient in a lot of things. Alright. Here we go. You want to go ahead and go rinse your finger before we get to the next step? Alright, next we need to add our soy sauce. So Abby's pouring the soy sauce. It calls for 1/2 cup, which seems like a lot, but this much teriyaki will be 2 entire meals. So even though it seems like we're using a lot of soy sauce, it's for 2 entire meals. So, and if you skimp on the soy sauce, you will definitely notice it in the flavor of your teriyaki sauce. Okay, so our final ingredient is the chicken broth, and it calls for 1.5 cups, but I found it's better to just double your volume of what you already have before you add the chicken broth. And then lastly, we're not going to stir it anymore. We're going to put the lid on it, and we're going to shake it really good. And then we're going to just let this sit, And while it's sitting, we will start preparing the other parts of this meal. So now we're doing the prep of all the vegetables. We pulled out our frozen vegetables that we're going to cut up into smaller pieces, and we're going to add some extra broccoli and some extra carrots to our stir fry. I use one cutting board for all my vegetables, which Abby is working on right now, and then I actually have a separate cutting board that all I use it for is meat, and that way I can make sure that I'm not accidentally cross-contaminating my vegetables. Even though our rice is not ready, we're going to go ahead, we've heated some oil, and we're going to add our meat to it. Go ahead and dump the meat in. And then we're going to stir fry it, which is the whole point of stir fry. So we're just going to, we have it at kind of high heat, and we're just going to keep it moving so it doesn't burn and doesn't stick together. And then after it's completely cooked, we'll take it off. Okay, as you can see, our chicken is just about done. What we're going to do is stir fry it until there's no more pink. And then once there's no more pink, we're going to take it off and we'll be ready for our next step. Our meat is done, and so we're going to move it into a small bowl and set it aside while we work on the next step. So next we're going to make the scrambled eggs for our stir-fried rice. And Abby's a little bit freaked out that we just poured it right into our chicken grease, but it's just going to add more flavor. We're going to scramble this together and then take it off the stove, and then we'll be ready for our next step to make our stir-fried rice. Okay, so it looks like our scrambled eggs are about done, so we're going to take them out and we're going to put them in a bowl. Okay, so now we're going to saute our carrots until they're fairly soft. We don't want to come across a hard chunk of carrot in our stir-fried rice. And then we'll just add our rice and put our eggs back in, and we're stir-frying. Okay, our rice was done some time ago, and I just wanted to check it and make sure its fluffiness. And if you notice, it's just like what you would get in a Chinese restaurant, because putting that towel on the lid really makes it light and fluffy, and yet at the same time stick together nicely, so it'll hold the meal really well. Okay, so our carrots are sauteed and they're nice and not super soft, but soft enough. And so our next step is we're just going to move them in with the scrambled eggs that we have sitting here, and then we're going to start our rice. Okay, we're stir frying our rice. So what we're going to do is we're going to stir fry it until it starts to get just a little bit of a light brown sheen on it. We've actually put a lot of oil. We've probably put a 1/4 cup of safflower oil and about a tablespoon of sesame oil for flavor. And once it starts getting a little light brown, then we're going to call it done, and we're going to add in our egg and our carrots that we've already cooked. And there's our stir-fried rice. Okay, our rice is pretty fried. It's not totally golden, but you can smell it. It's got a really nice aroma. Too bad you don't have smell vision. And so now we're going to add some of our teriyaki sauce that we made before. We're going to add a little bit of the teriyaki sauce to flavor up our stir-fry. Not too much, but enough to put some flavor into it. And then we're going to mix it real good, and then add in our vegetables and fry just a little bit longer to get flavor into our vegetables. And then our stir-fried rice is done. We're ready to add our vegetables. We're going to put our carrots and our scrambled egg in. We're going to mix it all together really good so that it's a nice good mixture. And then let it heat for a couple more minutes, and then our stir-fried is complete. Our stir-fried rice is complete. Okay, we've cooked the fried rice for a few minutes, and it's a nice good mixture. And so now I'm just going to put it in a big bowl and set it aside, and I'm ready to make my stir-fried vegetables. Okay, now we're making the stir-fried vegetables. And because these are fresh carrots, they're going to take a little bit longer to cook, so I went ahead and put them in the pan first, and I'm going to saute them until they start getting a little bit soft, and then I'll add the rest of the vegetables. Alright, so we fried our carrots enough, and now we're going to add the rest of our vegetables that we've carefully made sure everything is bite-sized. And we're going to stir it a little bit and get it coated with the oil, and then we're going to add the teriyaki. Alright, so our vegetables are fried enough. We're going to put back in our chicken. We're going to stir together our chicken, and then we're going to add some teriyaki. Alright, we're ready to add our teriyaki. So we're going to pour about a little bit more. And, okay, that's good. And then we're going to stir it together, and remember we put cornstarch in our teriyaki, so it should thicken up nicely. Alright, and there you have it. Beautiful stir-fried homemade vegetables. The only thing we didn't home make was the frozen vegetables, but it looks and smells delicious.